All right, guys, welcome back. I'm Sean Nicholas, and this is Common Courtesy TV. Common Courtesy TV is a talk show, a conversation, if you will, on modern society from an LGBTQ plus perspective. Here with me are my awesome co-hosts. First up, we have nightclub performer and show director. We have Angelique Young.
Hey, hello. What's up, everybody? Glad to be here. Glad to finally be in person with my favorite kings and queens.
Oh, yes. And next up, we have our favorite comedian and radio personality. We have Ivan Alexander.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? Glad to be here, and this spot is wonderful. I'm loving this spot, definitely.
I'm loving it as well. I'm loving it. And rounding out our panel, we have actress and activist Alicia. Yay!
Alicia, yay! And it is great to be here with you guys. For the first time, I'm meeting these beautiful faces, and finally, they put my beautiful face on here as well.
Yes, welcome. You guys are seeing us here, live taping in YBOR City at the event space at Bulge. Baby, I was just downstairs looking at them clothes. You know, I want to try them all. Let me not do the stripper thing. I almost did it. Almost kicked the heels. But I kind of want to give, I want to give a really big thank you to our studio sponsor, PJ Solis, because when I reached out to him for an interview, you know, he asked, well, why don't we shoot the show here for a minute? I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we're here, and we're going to have PJ up later to have a little interview. But first, we're going to get into what we usually do here. Our topic today is we're going to talk about why substance abuse is very prevalent in our LGBTQ plus community. There's some contributing factors, and I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about that. So let me get into it. So as recorded by American Addiction Addiction Centers, statistically, LGBTQ plus people are we're misusing drugs, whether it be alcohol or methamphetamines or opiates, things like that. There's contributing factors. And one of the contributing factors was, let's start with discrimination and social stigma. The next contributing factor was lack of support for the LGBT plus community. And the next one was internalized homophobia, correct? And the next one, the last one that I think is really important, was the need for specialized treatment centers for people who are suffering. So I kind of want to go to you guys first to see what how you're reacting to these contributing factors and why we're seeing people like you go on Grindr, you know, people are doing meth, you know, sometimes you go to the club, you have someone falling out. I myself am a recovering alcoholic, you know, and you know we're all working through our recovery with that. So I kind of want to go to Ivan first. Ivan, did any of these hit you?
Well, not me directly
hard?
So much personally, but I have friends that have been through different addictions, different issues going on. I mean, from the joking standpoint, I need my brain cells too much and my money, so I'm not going to go out there and blow it all because I have a very demanding job. But I found out, I had a stroke 2 years ago, and yes, fully recovered. And my doctor told me I was a binge drinker. I said, well, I go to brunch every Sunday. I go to, dinner. I have drinks at the club. Who knew 14 drinks a day was too much? So then I found out, I said, I do this every week, so it's not binging. So for me, humorously, yes, I've not been affected by it. Luckily, I have not had that much trauma or drama in my life to go that route. I know people who have been, and I've been supportive for them to say, you know what, we'll get through this, just take it a day at a time. And you have to have a support group, and you have to have people behind you that will say you'll get through it. So that's the angle I take it from. Definitely, you have to have that shoulder for people to come back on and say, look, I need some help. And not be afraid to ask them if they need some help. If you see something going wrong, this is not the norm for you. So what's going on here? Ask them. They may not speak up on their own. So you have to reach out and say, hey, I'm here for you.
So you're saying that the lack of LGBT plus support out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's the self-loathing to a degree. People are embarrassed.
Internalized homophobia.
Exactly. They're not going to speak up on it. So that's when you have to take the extra step and say, you know what? I know you well enough to know that something's not right here. And speak up and don't feel bad about it. You can hate me for a week if I was wrong. But if I'm right, then we get you some help.
Right. And let me go to Angelique. Well, which contributing factor did you read that kind of hit you hard?
I think the internalized homophobia one is one that's really big. It spoke to me on a level because when I had first come into the gay world, you think you hear like everything is so loving and so accepting, and so you get into these spaces that you are accepted to a certain extent, but you realize it comes at a bit of a cost. A lot of the things that these people are doing are dangerous for them, let alone for you. And that kind of that little whirlpool you go into when you're in those circumstances because you don't know any better. I mean, yeah, sure, we all know drugs are bad or whatever, but you have people telling you, look, I do it every day and I have a job and I do this, and you don't understand the different things about addiction and how it can be very, some people are a little bit more addicted than others. Some people can fall into like holes of it. And on the other side of it, a lot of people are getting into that and they're coming from homes that are broken. They're coming from places where they don't have safe spaces. So they're turning to alcoholism or they're turning to drugs to kind of alleviate that pain. You're looking to numb yourself. Only the problem is that the numbing is only temporary. It doesn't really get rid of it. So in my personal experience, when I went into the gay world, I loved it. It was a light of life. You know, these people are partying and stuff, and I really didn't get into it until later. But I started to have this kind of sense of internalized homophobia because I didn't want to be a trans woman because I thought that that was bad. I thought that, all I had ever seen was trans women be prostitutes or be, strippers or dancers or something sexualized, and they didn't have a place in the world. You didn't see them in CEO positions or anything. So for me, when people ask me as a drag queen, they'd be like, oh, are you going to be trans? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm still going to be a gay guy, like whatever. Like it was like one of those things. And I would go and drink and binge drink. And I mean, I would be out at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at somebody's party, wherever, like holding those feelings back, denying myself that love, self-love, let alone anyone else's love. No one ever came to me and said it was okay for me to be trans. No one ever said it was okay for me to go be one. No one showed me like, hey, there's places out there you could actually go and get the help you need to be the person you want to be. So I do agree with that. I think that that's a huge step because once I found that safe space, my life skyrocketed. I remember when I started my transition, that was a huge thing for me. Right. I remember going in and being like, damn, this is going to take forever for me to look and feel like a woman. And the second I hit that launch pad, it was like a roller coaster. Next thing you know, 5 years have passed. I'm a much happier person. I too have gotten off the drinking train. It's like you realize that when you're happy about who you are and you have actual good support and good love, things tend to be a lot more fulfilling and easier.
Absolutely. And let me go to Alicia. Let me kick it off to you. What contributing factor that you saw really, hit you?
I really think that in my case and many of the cases around me, it has to do more with the church. The Black community and the Spanish community are deep into the church. I was raised Baptist, and in the Baptist community, we had gay men, choir directors, piano players, etc., that were hidden. Everyone acted like they didn't see what they saw. And it was as clear as day. It's something that is ingrained into you. So you feel like me confessing who I am, I'm basically going to go to hell. I'm going to be chastised. I'm going to be cast out of the church. And in many cases, that's what happens. And with me, that is what happened with me. I mean, I started off as straight, and then I went into the world of being a lesbian for over 20 years. And then after that, I realized, that's not me. I'm pansexual. And it took me time to kind of grow into that. Once I started realizing that I needed to be who I am, then that's when, I just said, let me be myself. Let me accept me for who I am. And the biggest issue I had, too, with a lot of lesbians, they do not accept you if you're anything outside of lesbian. So that was another struggle for me. And I felt like I'm being pulled in a million different directions. And when I started to accept myself, I started to realize that, you know what, I am who I am. And if you don't like me, bump you.
I want to kind of ask you about that a little bit, but I kind of saw all this, but I kind of agree with Angelique that the one that hit me the most was the internalized homophobia. And the one thing is that while that was happening, I didn't realize that I was hating myself. You know what I mean? I was going to the club, getting drunk, and I will tell you, when I sit there and look at my recovery and I think back how many bottles of alcohol that I would drink, and even I would do cocaine and stuff like that, the more to get that feeling of letting go and being free and not worrying about what other people think. And the one thing I thought was very interesting in this article, it said that drugs and alcohol would kind of blind the negative thoughts. I would get a lot of those, even when I'm on a date with someone or, being intimate. I have those negative thoughts. So I really kind of thought that was the most poignant thing that I feel like that in our community is why we kind of abuse drugs and alcohol. And then also said that it just kind of makes you accept yourself a little bit. That kind of made me cry. It made me cry a little bit, but I kind of want to go to a round table. Let's go to Ivan first, and then we'll go to you.
Well, I mean, it starts off like it's fun, and then you fall down the rabbit hole. And you don't realize you're slipping down that hole until you're in the hole, and you can't get out. And at that point, you figure, what the hell? I'm here, so let's just keep on going.
Right.
Self-destruction. It happens. It's a cycle. I've seen it happen too many times.
It's the camaraderie. And it's when you do find the good group of people that make you happy, who accept you, and everybody's doing it, there's a moment where it feels euphoric, it feels fun, and it's great. And then so you hit this great point, and so now you're constantly looking for it.
Exactly.
You're constantly in a search for something that brings you what you think is the better side of happiness, the better side of fun, that excitement. And so you want to constantly have that. But the problem with that is that having that all the time takes you out of reality. It takes you, it diverts you from the real life problems. That's how people end up losing their jobs, losing their families, losing everything because you fall so deeply into it. I don't think I've ever been so hard up that I would suck a dick for a Coke or something, for whatever. But there's been times where I'm at home and I'm like, I haven't hung out in a minute, and I'm like, damn, I really want to go out. But I know going out with that particular group of people is going to lead me down another rabbit hole.
You start to think, what am I missing? Really, what am I missing?
Yeah.
Boom. Turn the TV on, grab a pizza, and
when I tell you, Haagen-Dazs has been my best friend.
And then Alicia, I want to hit you that. What did you? Because you said something about if you're not like the exact lesbian, they don't want to hit you. That kind of like, is that one of the contributing factors? What I heard was like social stigmas when you said the church.
Yeah, it was definitely social stigmas. And what I wanted to say too, I noticed in the LGBTQ community, alcohol and drugs are almost as if it's part of the community. I mean, where you meet, normally you're somewhere like the club. I mean, where else do you meet? I mean, there's nowhere else to go. It's not like we have that many gay churches to choose from. We can't go to gay theater. We can't go anywhere. So a lot of times you're meeting in the club. And so what happens a lot of times, especially with the girls, I've noticed, the girls drink a lot. I fell in the rabbit hole, and I think I crashed in that hole because I was drinking and driving. And I tell you what, I was the one that did not get caught. Right. So, I tell you what, it's in Orlando, where I'm from. Orlando, we are known for drinking. We have drinking festivals, you name it. If whatever alcohol you want to think of, we have it there. And so it's easy to slide into that. And yes, with the women, it's a big deal because the women don't accept you if you are anything other than lesbian. And a lot of times they won't date you. They say you're dirty. They say you have diseases. All these other things. Bi or pansexual? Bi or pansexual, you basically are undateable. And that becomes a problem, and they say, well, I don't think I can trust you. But then the men tell you the same thing. Are you sure you're not going to run off with a woman? Right. And then I get a triple whammy. A lot of people think I'm trans, but I'm cisgendered. I learned that word. Cisgendered. And they think I'm trans. And I had somebody ask me that the other day, are you trans? And I said, no, but thank you, because trans women are beautiful.
And on that note, we're going to go on a little break. Just to let you guys know, if you guys need a cute little space to host your event, please visit Bulge Tampa Bay so you can look up the event space at Bulge. And we're going to hear a little bit from our sponsor, Dave Borman at Tampa Bay Gay. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Borman with Tampa Bay Gay. Lightning hockey starts this week. Go Bolts! Also a bunch of other great Halloween events. Check out our LGBTQ events happening around the Bay Area this week.
This weekend is Spooky Empire. The annual event runs October 21st to the 23rd and is happening at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando. The event hosts a tattoo convention, Q&A panels, meet and greet with some of horror's best, including Christina Ricci, Eduardo Franco, Christina Lise, Alex Vincent, and more. This is the largest premier Halloween convention in the Southeast. Tickets and packages are on sale now. If you're looking for some Halloween fun, check out Undead in the Water 5, The Gathering, featuring over 6,000 terrifying square feet of cavernous cargo holds and open-air decks, all aboard the SS American Victory ship. It is Tampa's premier nautical haunted attraction located at Sparkman's Wharf in Tampa. Tickets are on sale now and reservations are required. Zoe's is the place to be on October 29th for the first annual Halloween Bash. Tickets are on sale for $20 and limited VIP for $50. The night's entertainment is hosted by Nikki Silva and includes special guests like Dragula Season 2 winner Bitch Puddin'. Come dressed to impress for a Halloween costume contest with a $2,500 cash grand prize.
Thank you for watching. You can always find this and more information at tampabaygay.com, as well as the latest digital content. Before I go, check this out.
Savor St. Pete is November 5th and 6th. This all-inclusive ticket is a foodie, wine enthusiast, and craft beer lovers main event at North Straw Park in St. Pete, featuring a grand tasting village with over 25,000 square feet of tented space. Right now, you can save $15 off general admission tickets with the exclusive discount code SAVOR Tampa Bay Gay.
We're back, everybody, and we are here with one of our sponsors. This is actually PJ Solis. Yes, I said it right. He's the owner of Bulge Apparel here in YBOR City. He's also the provider of our studio space, the event space at Bulge. PJ, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
I'm loving this space. Definitely. I'm loving this place.
I'm loving it. I feel like I'm in Friends, an episode of Friends. I'm like, Rachel. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to, so just to kind of travel back to our first conversation we were having before, did you see any of the contributing factors of why substance abuse is so prevalent in our community? Did any of those hit you?
Yeah, well, the one on discrimination, but I love the way Alicia mentioned specifically that there is discrimination within our own community. And so, having to break that barrier first of outing yourself to then come into the community and feel discriminated because either you are fully a lesbian or you're not, or you're part of the bear community, or you're not, or you're part of the twink community, or you're not. So I think we need to look within ourselves and become more of one, because as we separate ourselves, that's putting us, whether it's alcoholism, substance, whatever it is, you get into that bottle and it's hard to come out.
Well, as I said before, diversity division. If for as diverse as you want to be, you start to divide yourself too much. So it has to be inclusion, definitely.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into this interview. And Ivan, I believe you have the first question.
That's me. So, PJ, tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you decide to use YBOR City or pick YBOR City for the Bulge? And we have a new thing now, 2 snaps up and a Bulge.
I am PJ Solis, originally from Buffalo, New York. Kind of climbed up the corporate ladder. 12 years at CNN, 3 years at Deloitte, a couple years at Apple.
Wow.
By the time I left corporate America, I was the head of business administration for the artificial intelligence division of Apple.
AI, okay.
Yeah, AI. So Siri was my department. And and so there was 3,500 employees. I had 35 that were all project managers, but that led to quick burnout. So,
Right.
when you have that much responsibility and at that level of corporate America, it can be a lot. So around that time, COVID happened. I was lured back to Tampa to handle a family emergency, left the Silicon Valley life and settled into a whole different life. I did have to leave corporate America. What led me to Bulge and YBOR.
Here in YBOR, by the way.
Yeah.
It could have been St. Pete, but it's here in YBOR.
I hate him for that.
What an interesting name.
Oh, I'm looking for a Bulge 2 to be in St. Pete somewhere eventually.
We're looking at a satellite location.
See, I got this.
We're looking at a satellite
Carry on.
location. So a friend of mine, we were in Fort Lauderdale. And Fort Lauderdale has many of these locations. There's Pride Factory is the biggest. It's probably 10 times the size of what we are. But 4 of us went on a trip. Each one of us collectively spent $100 on that trip, shopping at locations like this. And I said, why is there nothing like this in Tampa? And my business partner at the time said, I've done the research, here's what it's gonna cost,
Oh.
And I was fresh out of corporate America, and I was like, let's do it.
Wow.
YBOR, in all honesty, it was sheer luck. The real estate market and commercial real estate is hard to get into. And so it's a process. So I applied for this building, and it took 3 months before they even looked at the application.
Wow.
When I finally got in, and then I saw the space, which was lovely, but then I saw this event space.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of like, where do I sign? How do we lock in?
Beautiful. Looks like an apartment.
It really does. Yeah.
Like we're in New York with the bricks.
Okay, so I think Angelique, you have the next one, yeah? Or do you have another one?
Actually, we kind of put those two in together. So we talked about him, definitely, and now we have, while we're in YBOR, coming soon to St. Pete, by the way.
Yeah.
So now we'll go to Angelique. She'll take it away from here.
No, so basically we're moving into the sex positive era of the world. Everyone is kind of really opening up about that, and it's starting to become something that we're seeing more How is Bulge handling that movement?
That's a great question because we pride ourselves on being a sexy shop, not a sex shop. So we do touch on the sex positivity aspect of the LGBTQ community.
Right.
We are kind of the biggest leather shop in the Tampa Bay area. So if you enjoy harnesses or other accoutrements, we offer such things.
The
Use
gear
my
is
word,
cute.
accoutrement.
It's,
Okay.
I was like, where's the one for my boobies? Because, I'm small and humble like
I
Shakira, but
love
it's
it.
all right. I was
We
like,
put many women in harnesses, so I can find a fit for you. But then we also market ourselves in that way. So just recently, Metro Inclusive Health held a kink event, and we were one of the featured vendors. So if you can imagine a kink event where they're going all out, whether it's spanking, flogging, and torture,
The other ings.
All of it.
The other
there's
ings.
there's things that are happening, and people were there to enjoy, and I offer a kind of a support service for those.
all the things that people forget when they're going to those things, like the lube and all the other things, like like you said, I like that word accoutrement. It was very nice. But no, aside from that, what was you got me blushing over here? I'm thinking about these things. Sorry, my bad. No. Yeah. Oh God, the whole reason why we're here, the question that Ivan wanted and didn't get.
Not happening today, okay?
Listen, I'm always, now that we're closer, it's just fire on fire. But no, so this event space, this is absolutely gorgeous. I don't think people won't understand. They have to come see it. Like literally, it's really a beautiful space. What made you think about this space, and can you tell us some more details about the event space specifically?
Yeah, so the event space is 1,000 square feet of a living room. Basically, it's a beautiful living room in the heart of YBOR City. So if there's apartments next door, which there are, 600 square feet, and they can't really offer a gathering space, we have that. So when we started off, it became a location for birthday parties. A lot of pre-games, like, between 6 and 10, before you go have fun in YBOR, you have fun at Bulge. So we rented that out. Then word of mouth grew. It became wedding receptions have been held here.
Nice.
We hold business meetings often. Yeah, we held a huge Christmas party. And we continue to grow. But now we're also expanding into recurring events. So we have Babes and Bulges, which is a little drag show hosted by Morgan Lachey.
Right.
We now have a recurring event called Sketchy Sketch. We just had it 2 days ago.
Yes,
or
the
so.
drawing one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we host nude live models for artists to sketch. And it was kind of awesome. Didn't expect the turnout as big as it was, but it was cute.
And it's always sexy, okay?
You sign a waiver before you come up for Sketchy Sketch.
Yeah.
So let's kick it to Alicia. Alicia, you have another question over there.
Absolutely. Before I ask my question, though, do you have items here for girls? I want my accoutrement to be decorated too.
So I do have some leather. I have put many women in leather apparel.
That sounds good. So what is the ultimate goal for your establishment?
Initially, when we started off, it was going to be a little bit gifty, right? Downstairs, we offer a lot of gifts. And so if you're running to a little birthday party, we'll put something together for you.
Like the poppers, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a gift for you.
Okay. A nail polish remover.
Oh, yeah, that's the...
nail polish remover.
Right.
I love that.
And so the intent was to be kind of Victor's Secret with a little bit of Spencer's. The Spencer's idea is growing. So not only are we looking at St. Pete, but there's other opportunities in Nashville and DC. But if we consider ourselves to be kind of an LGBT small establishment that, yes, is focused on male apparel, but we have the gifty side, we could be in malls across the country. We can be that location. Tampa didn't have one until we got here. Nashville doesn't have one. DC does not have one. So we're already looking at locations on where we can fill that void.
Expanding, we're going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be there. You have another one, baby?
That's exciting. I mean, you need to definitely bring that to Orlando, because Orlando, I mean, you might have a little competition out there, but you need some sexiness out in Orlando as well. So.
Giving props to Orlando.
So my other question is, what is the ultimate issue that you see in the LGBTQ community as being a social issue?
If we're going to go back to that discrimination point, because that's a topic in itself. I think until we look within ourselves, we can't kind of, practice what you preach, right? So if you're going to want to be inclusive, then lesbians should come to my shop. No, honestly, like I've had a lesbian say that to me. The name is Bulge. Why would I go to Bulge? And I said, well, I'm an LGBTQ establishment. Why would you not? I offer leather. You're looking for leather. No, man, your name is Bulge.
Tata's Bulge.
But you're Victoria's Secret. So let's get beyond those obstacles that are within our own community. And I think that's a strong issue that needs to be tackled.
I believe that's true.
Me too.
And, you know, ladies, come and check it out. Definitely. I mean, I'm gonna go through and check out a few items and see what I can fit into, and I might have to show you guys.
Okay, I can spend a whole paycheck down there. But you know, we ran out of time, but I just wanted to let people know where they can find and book their own event space here. What's the website for us?
BulgeTampaBay.com.
BulgeTampaBay.com. All right, guys, so that's the episode today, and I wanted to thank PJ for being here and honestly giving us this space to put our dream into reality. I want to thank you guys for watching, and also, if you guys want that event space, please go to BulgeTampaBay.com. Also, as well, for things that are going on in our Tampa Bay area and the surrounding area in Florida, please go to TampaBayGay.com. All right, guys, we'll be back next week. And like I always like to say, try to have a little bit more common courtesy. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you, guys.